We caught a swarm in a swarm trap this week, and it's a fairly large one, so we're planning on combining it with a colony that has a good laying queen but is very, very weak with numbers. So we're going to find the queen in this one, pinch her out, and then do a newspaper combine with the existing colony. Okay. What we're doing now is investigating this colony here to make sure that it still has a queen and that she is still laying, because there's no point in doing a combine if she is not still alive. So I see plenty of drawn brood. There's more on this side. As you can see, they have a really tiny cluster. So the queen's doing good, she just doesn't have the bees necessary to really explode. So we're going to try to alleviate that, or remedy that, by mixing the colonies. And as you can see, there she is in all her glory. Alright, so we know that we have an established laying queen in this one. So we can now proceed with the combine. This colony is a complete unknown as to where they came from, what their temperament is, whether or not they're any good, which is why we're probably going to wind up pinching the queen in this one in favor of the queen in that one, because that queen, we know her genetics and we know she survived a winter, whereas this colony, we don't have a clue. They have been in this box for, I believe, 3 days now. Let's just see what we're getting into here. This is a frame of foundation that with drawn brood comb that we put in as part of the baiting system. No sign of the queen on this side either. So yeah, if we find her, we'll pinch her. So right there, under this knot of bees, is our swarm queen. Where'd she go? And there she went. So now we put newspaper on top of that one and set all these frames on top. We don't want to. We are going to set newspaper on top of this colony, which allows the smell of the queen on the bottom to get up into the top box, which is now going to be hopelessly queenless. What do you think?
I think you're good.
Now, their introductions. They are currently drawing comb under that. 3 days. Given how strong this colony is, plus the colony underneath, I think they will be needing both of these boxes before too long. So we'll just give it to them. So if you see this giant ball of bees hanging on the front here, it's because these are foragers from this upper swarm, I guess I should say, who are now confused as to where the entrance went. So they're balling up on the front. They'll eventually either find their way up into the top entrance once we put the inner cover on, or they'll work their way back down to the bottom entrance and merge with the lower colonies. So we've completed our first attempt at a newspaper combine. The queen in the upper box is dead. There is a laying queen in the bottom box. There's lots of bees in the top box and very few bees in the bottom box. So hopefully they should mix together and sort that out. And not really much to do except wait 2 weeks and see if it's successful. So we are back here again. This is a week after we did the newspaper combine on this colony. We're going into them and we're going to check to see how things are going today, because we can clearly see that there is newspaper drug out of the entrance, and so the colonies are already merged. We're going to go in and see if the swarm in the top box accepted the queen from the wheat colony in the bottom box, or if they killed her and are raising a new queen. We're going to go in and see what's going on with that and clear the paper out, because it's kind of an eyesore. Hopefully these bees in the top box are gentle, because we have never gone into them when they were a colony, just as a swarm. So hopefully they're not too defensive. We'll give them a good bit of smoke just to be sure. I can clearly see that they're clustering on quite a few frames, actually. This one is very heavy. It's full of nectar. Absolutely full of it. And you can tell that the bees have been very diligently chewing the paper out of the way down there. We'll pop this whole top box off. A little bit of smoke again, because this is about to be kind of invasive. Bees, get out of the handhold, please. That's why I didn't want to put it all the way over, because you can see that they only have, this is where their cluster is. So that's where it's chewed out. This hive had extremely weak numbers. Made it through the winter, but just extremely weak, which is why we combined them, because we wanted to save that queen's genetics, but they went into the winter with too small of a cluster or something. It was probably our fault. So we whatever. We fixed it.
Rectified.
Rectified, that's the word. By giving them this swarm. Some brood up in the upper corner. It's mostly food stores. But this makes me happy going in here and seeing this many bees moving around. I wasn't sure if this colony was going to survive. Brood, eggs, young larvae. She's laying in like quadruple the area that she had been last week, because she finally has the bees necessary to care for that much brood. It's never the queen's issue. It's just she didn't have the workforce to pull it off. We went through this one now. We pulled the paper, saw plenty of eggs being laid, saw plenty of larvae, everything looked good. And we also found the queen. It was the existing queen from the overwintered colony, so this one should be good to go. They'll get their brood nest sorted out, start laying eggs, start rearing brood, and this thing should take off quite quickly.